Modern creators are exhausted. We absorb the routines of industry experts, force ourselves to wake up at dawn, and adopt beliefs that were never ours to begin with. We build an operation based on what we think we should do, and the result is a system constantly grinding against its own gears. We spend hours tweaking fonts, reorganizing workspaces, and staring at screens, trapped in a loop of performative productivity. It looks like work, but it's actually friction. We hold on to perfectionism because it feels safe, keeping our real ideas hidden behind a facade of being busy. To break out of this loop, you don't need another organizational app. You need an alchemical furnace. The Athanor 21 protocol is exactly that. Over 21 days, it operates entirely by destruction, burning away the noise, the inherited rules, and the heavy expectations you've been carrying. A sovereign creative practice cannot be built by piling more systems onto an already overloaded mind. It starts by calcining your false habits until all that is left is the bare minimum you need to actually create. Week 1 focuses on the internal architecture. This is where we separate the parts of you that are genuine from the costumes of family, culture, and survival you've been forced to wear. We look for the signals of true ownership, the ways you respond to pressure, or the interests you return to effortlessly. Once we peel back the brittle layers of expectation, we locate your constants. These are your anchors, the lived realities and instincts that remain steady, regardless of your environment or mood. They do not bend under pressure. From this core, we map the behaviors that generate momentum, and we observe the limiting patterns that drain it. Both types attach directly to your foundation. We look at them with total neutrality, acknowledging what your weakening traits were originally trying to protect, rather than attempting to fix them. When you construct your creative practice on the honest truth of how you actually operate, a massive weight lifts. You stop wasting your energy maintaining a character, leaving your focus entirely available for the work itself. With the false layers gone, we move into week 2 to focus on your operational mechanics. This is where your internal story and your physical output finally align into a singular, coherent process, a state of mythic intelligence where your engine runs without the friction of a borrowed identity. The 9-to-5 schedule is an industrial concept built for factories, not creators. To work naturally, you have to abandon that rigid structure entirely and start honoring your specific biological tide. This graph illustrates the difference. The flat, steady line is the artificial expectation of a standard workday. The irregular wave is the reality of creative energy. You might be a midnight alchemist who does nothing all day and hits massive peaks of output at 2 a.m., or a morning architect whose clarity vanishes by noon. The valleys, the voids of doing nothing, are just as crucial as the spikes. Forcing a linear schedule onto a non-linear mind causes friction. Embracing your irregular bursts and voids allows your system to recover, preventing burnout and keeping your long-term output sustainable. Next, we identify the sensory fuels that keep you in the chair. These are your micro-joys, a specific pen on paper, the lighting at 4 p.m., your exact digital workspace layout. If it feels good, it is fuel for the engine. We also map the invisible energy taxes that leave you bankrupt. These range from performative syncing, the drain of matching someone else's pace, to the mental whiplash of switching from deep creative flow to administrative tasks. These leaks silently deplete your capacity long before the day is over. To plug those leaks, you introduce tools. You leverage AI and automation, using them as an invisible staff to handle scheduling, data, and repetition. You do this not to replace your unique voice, but to aggressively guard your energy against those silent drains. Your process might look like a disaster zone to the outside world, but a messy, highly specific operating system that perfectly matches your quirks is a massive competitive advantage. You stop fighting your own nature, and your workflow becomes frictionless. By week 3, your internal mechanics are tuned, but an engine is useless if it's locked onto a testing block. Keeping your projects hidden in drafts or notebooks and the fear of imperfection means your real voice stays out of the world. Safety wins, but the work goes nowhere. We clear the waiting room with a strict audit. Look at every unfinished essay, video, and someday idea. You face a decisive choice. Either set a hard, immediate deadline for completion, or issue a permanent death certificate and bury the project so it stops stealing your psychic energy. To finally ship these projects, we have to look under the story of altruism. Stop pretending you are only creating to save the world, and confront the raw reason driving you. Whether you want financial security, industry recognition, or simply to be paid for being yourself, you must name the actual fuel. Acknowledging that raw motivation ends the performance. When you cut the dead weight of abandoned projects and own the real reason you are working, you release the psychological grip holding you back. The ideas finally get the oxygen they need to breathe. We then move your output into the 3D world. Many creators reject SEO, email lists, and algorithms as a betrayal of their artistic soul, but these systems are simply machines. They are mechanical levers built to amplify your voice, and refusing to use them is just sabotaging your own reach. Look at this feedback loop. Real creative businesses treat their analytics like blood work. You observe where your signal signates and where it gains ground. You take the raw data, process it without ego, and use it to adjust your path in real time. With the data in hand, you map your route. You identify a specific goal, a financial number or output metric that your nervous system can currently hold without panicking. Then you work backwards, building a visible action map of the exact milestones and offers needed to make that goal a reality. Because doing this alone can be isolating, this protocol connects to a space called Fractory. It is a free, ongoing ecosystem for multi-universal creators to hang out, share resources, and sustain their momentum alongside people who actually understand the process. When your internal story, your operational mechanics, and your external output finally align, everything false burns away. You stop performing the act of productivity, and you step fully into your space as a self-authored mythic creator.